is in Papatua. I'm from the island of Mangaia, and I'm glad to be here this morning to talk to you about the dictionary. And I used to be a school teacher for 33 years, but now have retired and still involved with using my skill as a teacher to help people of my island. And I'm glad to be called to be on this here this morning to take part in the session we are just about to do. Thank you.
Tangi ke rau. Tuku ingoa o pita Ngatokorua. I'm also a retired school teacher like Ina. My basic role here on this program is to support Ina and to get this project off the ground, get it up and running. Hopefully we'll manage to get it done. Thank you.
I think I've always been a language person, and because the dictionary has to do with the language, that's why I wanted to be involved in it, because I think it's my life and it's my language and it's my people that need to know about this. So actually this is the second time I've been involved with a dictionary. The first one was done by an American lady, Masa Dodson, who is now in New Zealand somewhere, and I got involved with the dictionary she did. And when this came up, you know, I wanted to be part of it. With the one that I had with Masa, there were about 7 of us involved in the dictionary, and most of us were retired teachers. So and I think because teaching has to do with why we wanted to take part in the dictionary. And with this one, when we started off, when we were in Mangaia doing the words, there were a lot of people involved. And then, but now they didn't continue. So at the moment, just myself and. I think there were lots of words that I haven't even heard of, which came up in the dictionary, and to me, that was very, very important, because I'm glad that Don Marshall got these words just in time before they actually disappear, you know, from the Mangaian language, and there were hundreds of words that I learned, new ones that I've never heard before, that I found in the dictionary. And
can you give us an example of just one?
An example of this is the word that I learned from the dictionary, waiata, and it's about dancing. And because in the Mangaian language now we say karie, which is also an old word, but some people still use it. And then we have the ura, but never the waiata. So that was, I think, an older word than the other two. So to me, it's really good, and I've started using that word in some of the compositions that I do, in the songs that I compose now. Yes, there were words which my mother used. But then I think she was the last person I knew use them. I never heard anyone, even in the older generation, use that word now. An example of this is the word Taviriro. Taviriro is a small bundle of taro top, which we used to, to eat. But it's the smallest bundle. A big bundle had a different name, but the small one is called a taviriro, which I still, I heard it from my mother, so I still have it. That even though I don't use it now because we don't when we get the taro top bundle, we get the big one, the big bundle, not the taviriro, not the small one. So, but I learned that from her, and the other one is the word tokotara. Tara means talk or speech, and toko means to answer back. Especially with the kids and parent relationship. The tokotara means when your parents say something to you, you talk back. And in my mother's day, she never allowed us to tokotara. But I don't hear that word being used now. We use different words for something like that. So today we say tupa'upa'u or something, but never tokotara. And my mother was the last person I heard use that word. I can't say there were gaps because maybe these were the words that was used by people in those years, because we have other words now, which I think is not as old as when Marshall was here to collect all the words that people in Mangaia use. I believe that the other words we use now is only a modern words which we probably learned from somewhere or what we use in the language now. Maybe there were gaps in Marshall's collection, but I can't say positively that there were. One thing that I was thankful about Marshall's dictionary was because I used to work with the community, and there were things that I wanted to learn, I wanted to know, especially the titles for the aronga-mana of the island. But I've always wanted to know because I knew that they got titles for their names, but never had the opportunity to get them, not from the old people because they don't even know. But when I went through Marshall's collection of the dictionary, that's where I found almost all of the island titles that the people have now. And then in my district, in KR, all the chiefs in the district knows their title names, and then the people in the village used to call them now, not by their real name, but their title names. So every time we have meetings, they greet their chiefs by their title names. And to me that was really good because it lifts the status of the mana of the people on the island. And I hope that in my I've started collecting a lot of other titles from all the other districts, but not all of them. But I hope that when I go through the dictionary again, I might be able to pick up there. But in my next workshop, which will be at the end of this month, that's one thing I will be bringing up into the community so that each district knows the title names for all of their chiefs. And I'm very thankful that Marshall had got that down. And it helps even our school children can come to learn and respect their chiefs by their title names. I use words words like waiata in one of my composition in last year's Mairenui, and then I used other words like rauka'a. Rauka'a is a bundle of sinnet fiber that is ready to be weaved, and I used that in a composition. And then I used tokotara in one of my compositions, and just to give the community an idea of what our word is like and the power in it to help us and the young ones. Yeah, I used a lot of words from Marshall's collection to put into my and I'll be using some more, because at this time I've written all the time I come across a word that I'm interested, that I think is fit for my compositions, I write them down. I think we're lucky because Marshall had these words down, and I'm hoping that we could introduce more of the old words into the schools, so that the kids can learn it, the kids can use them, and the kids can benefit from. Because I always believe there's mana in our language. There's mana in the words, in the the more words you know, especially the old words, the stronger, and the more mana you have to within yourself to learn more, and not for your benefit, but for the benefit of the people and the people you work with. So in the future, I'm going to hold a lot of workshops about the language, about the history of the people, and all this has to do with the language. Foremost message to them would be learn the language, and let their children learn the language, because out there the Papa'a language dominate our lives, and so the kids have no time to learn but that would be my first message to them. Speak the language to your children, because no one else can do it. No one else can teach your kids about these things except their parents. And I believe that they have that obligation to their children, to teach their children the language and to know who they are. And the second one would be to use this dictionary, because I think the Mangaia people are very, very lucky. We got this down, written by somebody else. We only have to look at it and see what it is, learn the meaning, and learn the word, and use it.
My own experience, I grew up at times when the language have changed so much that what I saw in Marshall's, the words in Marshall's, are totally mind-blowing. And I never heard of these words before. I never come across a lot of these words before. I've heard only a few from the people of my grandfather's days, grandmother's days, and these people have passed on, and so has that language, that level of the language. Whereas I grew in a time where the Mangaian language have changed, like all languages change, and it's heartening, like Ina said, and fortunate that Marshall have recorded all these words, and they are a record, an important record of our history. And my advice to you my brothers and sisters of Mangaian origin, and also those people who are interested to learn the language, to take it on and learn and teach the next generation. I myself have a papa, a wife, my children, of course, half Mangaia and half Papatua. But I've taught them to speak the language, and they speak it perfect Mangaian. So they are bilingual, they are good in English, and they are both, I think both good in English and in Mangaian. And I'm very proud of their achievement, and I hope that a lot of the families nowadays who are following my road, going down the same road I have, please do the same. It's, from my experience, it's a lot of staring if I'm having a conversation with my daughter or my sons in Mangaian when they would expect to be, otherwise. And it's very hard. It's a great language, and I'm proud to be a Mangaian, and that's part of our culture. It's part of our identity. I think it's our duty as Mangaians to learn the language, then pass it on to our next generation as the keepers of our culture.
About these workshops, actually, I was asked by the CITII to hold something like this, if I can be able to hold workshops in that language, and I agreed. And they set the date for me to do it, and then it's the first time I've done something like this, especially on the island, and other people helped me with the organization. And but when we had it, we started off with 17 people that came early in the morning, and by the end of the workshop, 2-day workshop, there were about 27 people who was there all the time, plus school kids and teachers and other people who pop in and out during the day, and all those who came to the workshop said that they need to have another one. So some of the topics some of the people that got involved with actually the presentation, I asked people from the community. I asked Alan Tuara, I asked somebody from Iwirua, and then Taui, and then and one of the young boys who brought the Mangaian waka in 1992 to the festival in Rarotonga, because we need to know the end of the story, how the canoe left Mangaia and came to Rarotonga. And we had to hear it from somebody who was actually there, who brought the canoe over. And it was the first time the people had heard what happened when the canoe came. So that was some of the topics I introduced. For myself, I did a session on the Mangaia parables and how we got it and what it meant, what it has, what the message has for the people today in those parables. And then I had a session on the Ua Mangaia, how the military rule was established during the old days, but the wars and how the winners, the people who will lead the island is appointed, and the ritual that has to go with it. And then those were the different, about the history. I asked Alan Tuara to talk about, because some years back there was a boat who was wrecked this has to help with the tourism industry. So ask him to come and talk about how that boat got to Mangaia and got wrecked on the. So those things were eye-openers for somebody, because they've seen the boat, the wreck there, but never actually heard about so I got those involved. And I was glad I didn't do the workshop myself. I involved other people in the community that can. We'll be doing another one at the end of this month. And at this time I've got what I'm going to involve this time one of them would be some of the old languages that I got from the dictionary. I'm going to have that teach to the people what these mean, and it's good for them to know these things. It's their own language, which by now would have been lost without Marshall writing it down.